What's going on, guys? So I'm out here doing something a little bit different. I'm actually removing this GENY Spartan Torsion gooseneck hitch from the front of the trailer because with the new WaySafe Gooseball in there and how high it sits up, I can't actually connect to this without the front of the trailer being pitched up about 4 inches higher than I should have it because it's not going to be level. And the reason for that is this is slid up into this top tube as high as it will go. And again, because of the configuration of this entire torsion assembly right here, it positions it much lower than it can be for it to level out once I have it connected to the back of the truck. So unfortunately, I have to remove this. I'm going to be reinstalling this Bulldog coupler that I've had. You guys might remember I did the review on it. It's got the cool auto latch right here. And thankfully, my Fort Knox lock will actually fit the end of that perfectly. So I'll be in really good shape. I get to reconnect my little cable I have here, which is still in place, so I can work this little mechanism and get it to couple or uncouple from the truck whenever I need to. Now, there's a couple ways I'm going to try to do this. The first one is I'm going to see if I can kind of work this out without needing to hitch it up to the truck. And what I mean by that is there's a bit of pressure. This kind of squeezes around this tube a little bit tighter than you might think. So once I pull this pin out and I loosen it, it may not drop straight out. And even if it does, this is super heavy. I mean, this assembly here is over 100 pounds. So, you know, just to save me the hassle of having to lift it over the back, if I just raise it up and do it over the back of the truck, then it'll already be in the truck, so I'll be in good shape. So to insert this one, I'm just going to be able to slide it into the tube, tighten it down, and we should be ready to go. So let's go ahead and kick this thing off. Okay, so I know I have a small solar panel mounted up here, but it apparently didn't provide enough current to keep the batteries completely charged, and it's likely because of the freeze that we recently had. So I have my little jumper box connected. Recently featured this on a video I did talking about the need to carry something like this with you. I'm glad I did. Love having these hydraulic landing gear up front. Really speeds this process up significantly. Got it raised up really high, so I should be able to easily back the truck underneath it. Oh, and another reason why I'm doing this right now, and it's the evening, you can actually see the sun setting, is because tomorrow I'm picking up a rather large amount of water that was shipped down, and I'm going to be delivering it to a couple different places that had loss of water due to the storm. So we have water turned back on, but the plumbing systems in many of these places were completely compromised, and a lot of these places just don't have any fresh water. So we're going to try to pick up some cases of water tomorrow, and I don't want to be out here in the morning trying to do all this, so I can get an early start. So that's the reason we're doing it. So I'm positioned where I want to be. I'm going to go ahead and loosen the two set bolts right here, and then I'm going to drop the pin out, and hopefully I can just kind of worm this out with some weight on top of it. And once I do that, I should be able to just set it on the tailgate. So we'll see how that goes. So that wasn't the exact route I wanted to go to do this, but so the next step, now that this is loose inside here, is to lift the trailer up, and hopefully I can get it high enough to get it off of this so I can kind of tip this over. So that didn't work. I couldn't actually get the trailer high enough, or the front overhang high enough to clear this and get it off. So I'm gonna have to muscle it out the old-fashioned way and maybe drop it down to the back step on the bumper. So let's see how this works. So this time I'm going to do it a little bit different way. I'm going to drop it as low as I can and see if I can just rest it on the ground. Yeah, this will probably work out a lot better. Now I'm gonna just lift it up slightly, pull the pin out, and let it just kind of fall down to the ground and see how that works for me. You know, I know a lot of you folks are gonna say, man, just muscle the thing up. And you know, I probably could, and I will have to get it into the back of the truck, but I'm not as young as some of you 30-year-olds and some of you guys that just lift heavy stuff like this up and don't worry about your backs. My back will go out on me, and I really don't want that to happen, so I'm gonna try to do this the most convenient way possible. Yeah, I can't wrestle it up any higher than that, so I'm going to lift it up, put it in the back of the bed of the truck, and then lower it down to get it into that hole right there. There we go. So now I'm just going to lift it up, go ahead and put it on the ball, and make sure everything's nice and level, which I predict it's going to be pretty dang close. So I am going to reconnect the handle that I had on here. So this way, from the back of the trailer, I can lift this release lever and lower it over the ball. I already have some grease on the ball, and we should be ready to drop it in place. And if everything lines up the way it should, I'll be able to tighten these back down and we'll be good to go. Now, I can't lie, one thing I really missed about this specific coupler is the fact that I can raise and lower it from here, which is super awesome. Got to work it away from the chains right there so it's not pinching on them. I'm going to bring it down. There we go. Now, let's go take a look at that scale real quick and see what the weight looks like as I bring this down. Okay, so I am now in the bed of the truck. Let's drop this thing down. Okay, we have all the weight on it now. Looks to be right around 1,600 pounds. So 1,600 pounds of tongue weight on my tilt deck Texas Pride trailer, and that's empty, except of course for the weight of the toolbox in the front with the chains and stuff. But 1,600 pounds. And I believe that's pretty close to what it was when I had the Shoreline scale out here too. But this is actually rated to a gross trailer weight of 30,000 pounds with a 7,500 pound maximum vertical weight on the actual pin. So this thing's pretty dang heavy duty. Absolutely love this. Yeah, this is a brand new product. If you didn't see the video I did where I showcased it when I first got it in, you might want to take a look at it. Absolutely gorgeous setup. And what I really like about it, and it's the only one that does this, it locks into place with a key. So whenever you have it in your truck, you lock it into place and your investment is protected. Absolutely love that. Very cool. Rubber cap's a little bit difficult to get on there. There we go. Anyways, let's take a look from the outside and see how everything looks from a level perspective. Okay, so we can see that the trailer is sitting a little bit higher in the front, which is actually preferred because there's no weight on it right now. The minute I start throwing a lot of weight on this trailer, especially any of it that rests in this area right here, you're gonna see it sit more level. And of course I have airbags in the truck to level it out if I put too much weight up front. But this is pretty much exactly how you want it to sit. And right now, as it's configured in the back of the truck, the actual assembly, this Bulldog assembly right here, is about 2 inches further into the tube where the coupler is than the Gen Y setup. So the only real gripe I had against this setup is how much further out from the actual tube that it slides into you're going to be, which means it may be difficult to get your trailer level. And then secondly, I'm not a big fan of this pinned connection that they have up front. I know that they have a model with a quick release. This is the one that they sent to me, and it has the pinned connection. And to be honest, that's a bit of a pain. And that's definitely something that I didn't care for, because you have to be dead on the ball to drop this in place. However, once you dropped it in place, getting the pin in was also a bit of a challenge. The product is phenomenally built, and it accomplishes exactly what it's designed to do, and that's to provide some flex right here, so it dampens the harshness between the trailer and the truck, and it gives you a smoother ride, and it, you know, does less damage to both the truck and the trailer if you're hauling heavy gear. My big complaint again is just the overall size of this. If you have a lower truck or a truck that sits lower, you may be able to work this in a little bit easier. But for me, the big challenge I had was I had to use the lowest Gooseball I had to allow this to work without the trailer tipping up too far. Whenever I use my B&W or I use this WaySafe, it sits up so high that paired with this, you know, the trailer's probably going to be sitting 4 or 5 inches higher in the front than I'd like it. So I had to remove this. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. It's a really, really cool product. Maybe I'll do some type of a giveaway, or maybe I'll provide it to some type of an agency or a nonprofit that needs something like this on one of their trailers. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and finish all this up, decouple the trailer from the truck, and get out of here. So again, guys, something I absolutely love about this Bulldog coupler is the fact that I simply have to pull down on this lever to uncouple it, then lift up on the front landing gear. And there we are. Man, that is super, super easy. I absolutely love the convenience of this. And a lot of, you know, hitching up to trailers, towing RVs, all this stuff, a lot of it comes down to convenience, as long as it's safe convenience. You know, that's kind of the key behind it. And this is really good convenience, and it's safe convenience. So that's just something to keep in mind. Guys, I'm going to put a link to this Bulldog coupler in the description of this video. I got this from my sponsors at eTrailer. Very, very cool, and it's actually pretty affordable. So it makes the process easier. It does not have any type of suspension or dampening built into it, so that's just something you want to keep in mind, and a big difference between it and the Gen Y. There we go, all locked up. Everything's back in place. If you haven't checked out these locks from Fort Knox Locks, they have different types of locks for just about every application. They have these really cool puck locks with an alloy cylinder inside of them, and these things are all made out of like 1/4 inch thick steel plate that's welded all together, and they're kind of like a vault style where it wraps around everything, but they work extremely well. I featured these on my channel quite a bit, and every time I show a video and I don't talk about them, everyone says, hey, what was that yellow lock you had on your trailer? So this one covers the set bolt right here, so somebody can't just swap the coupler out. And this one right here surrounds the entire coupler on the end. It just makes it more difficult. You know, a determined enough thief can probably steal whatever they want. Anyways, guys, I'll put a link in the description to the Bulldog coupler, the Gen Y Spartan, as well as some of these locks if these are things you might be interested in. Guys, if you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again very soon.